I'm making this video to talk about the most regretful and shameful thing that I've ever had to talk about publicly.
For the second time in a week, Joe Rogan, the #1 Spotify podcaster with 11 million listeners per episode, has some explaining to do.
I never used it to be racist because I'm not racist, but whenever you're in a situation where you have to say, I'm not racist, you up.
Starts calling them bird.
This time, under fire for a video that's gone viral that edited together Rogan using a racial slur more than 20 times on his podcast, spanning a little over 10 years.
You know,
thing. Yes. Saying the word you've already said is just like
The controversial podcaster taking to Instagram and apologizing for using the slur, but adding the videos were from years ago.
It's a video that's made of clips taken out of context of me of 12 years of conversations on my podcast, and it's all smushed together. Now, I know that to most people, there's no context where a white person is ever allowed to say that word. And I agree with that now. I haven't said it in years.
It is now up to the audience to decide whether or not they are going to accept that apology. Certainly, it's a fiscal decision that Spotify is making by choosing not to step away from Joe Rogan.
Spotify removing more than 100 episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience. And in an internal memo to staff obtained by ABC News, CEO Daniel Ek apologizing, saying he's deeply sorry, and adding, I do not believe that silencing Joe is the answer. We should have clear lines around content and take action when they're crossed, but canceling voices is a slippery slope.
The Spotify CEO statement clearly has underlying language that is appeasing a certain audience while patronizing another. There is no rationalization around the repeated use of a very offensive word. So his statement is a clear acceptance of Joe Rogan's behavior.
Rogan's popularity cannot be understated. His flippant attitude and irreverent curiosity has earned a cult-like following. In May 2020, he landed an exclusive deal with Spotify worth more than $100 million, one of the first of its kind for the medium, catapulting his show to the #1 podcast in the world.
Their ways of dealing with controversies like this in the past and recently have been very awkward. Clearly, Spotify has to address this in some way. It's problematic and it's going to catch up. At a certain point, users are just going to say, enough.
If you're there and you are offending so many people, are you being rewarded for your bad behavior?
4-time Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter India Arie is best known for her hit song, Video.
It really just depends on whatever feels good in my soul.
Now, she's among the growing number of artists pulling her music and podcasts from Spotify.
This is a conversation about me standing up for my dignity.
India Arie posting on her Instagram saying she finds Rogan's language around race to be problematic and pointing to what she calls an issue of pay inequity for artists.
And while your intellectual property is the backbone of this company, they pay him, but they don't pay you. For me, it's a little bit more about Spotify.
Joe Rogan and the controversy around him, that was all just the breaking point for you with your relationship with Spotify.
Yes, Joe Rogan is not the reason I want my music pulled off. He is the final reason. We want to be paid for our intellectual property and the money that it generates in proportion to what we generate. We've been wanting to be paid fairly as working musicians. Black music is the trend setting. Black music gets the most spins on Spotify.
Spotify has to decide whether they want Joe Rogan to remain a part of their corporate DNA. And if so, they will have to also expect the liability that that partnership has now brought to their stakeholders and shareholders alike.
It's been a tumultuous start of the new year for Rogan and Spotify.
I'm sorry.
Just last week, Rogan addressing an entirely different controversy.
The podcast has been accused of spreading dangerous misinformation.
after 76-year-old Harvest Moon singer Neil Young held Rogan and his employer Spotify's feet to the fire for allowing the host and his guests to spread what Young says is rampant misinformation about COVID-19 and the vaccine.
The consumers and the creatives who share the platform with Joe Rogan are clearly saying in defiance that we would rather lose revenue than be aligned with the values and statements made by Joe Rogan.
I am in no position to tell Spotify not to have Joe Rogan. I don't believe in cancel culture. I don't want to be there while he's doing what he's doing.
India Ari says ultimately companies like Spotify will have to decide what they value in their content creators, and that will decide who stays and who goes.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.